on behalf of the Lagos area, yes, on behalf of the Lagos Area Committee of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, it is my privilege to welcome all our delegates to the day 2 of the mid-year workshop of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers Lagos Area Committee. You will recall that we started yesterday on a very, very promising and very, very incisive note as we took on the subject matter of advocacy, which was led by the CEO of IBAC, that's the Insurance Brokers Body of Canada, Mr. Peter Braid. And of course, it was a very, very stimulating session yesterday talking about advocacy. We also had the privilege yesterday of listening to our own, that's Mr. Rotimi Eduemeni, Deputy President of the NCRIB, who also backed up the issue of advocacy from the point of view of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers. By and large, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, for those of us that had the privilege of being on, was quite a very, very rewarding and intriguing session. And here we have today, which is the climax of this very great event. And I can tell you that we already have lined up for today very, very rewarding sessions, and we are getting cracked, and we get cracking right away. But before I go ahead, I would just want to especially welcome to this loop the President of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, and of course the #1 broker in Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigbogi. Madam President, you are welcome. Please also permit me to welcome or to inform you that we already have on the loop the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Mr. Fatah Adegbenro. Mr. Adegbenro, you're welcome, sir. Yes, thank you. I have the woman behind the veil. That's the chairman of the Lagos Area Committee, a very, very relentless worker and one very, very diligent professional. I'm talking about Mrs. Bukola Ifemade. Mrs. Ifemade, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm sure that your blood pressure must be going down by installment now, because as we coast towards the final lap of the success, which you started yesterday. Thank you, madam, for your presence. And of course, I also have in the house Mr. Olukorede Rotimi. Mr. Rotimi Olukorede, that is the deputy and the vice chairman. You are also very, very welcome. Please, as we go along, it appears that there is an interference. Please, can we correct that? There is an interference. Can we please correct that? Check if your mic is not mute so that you can mute them. I can feel some very bad interference. Please, can we just correct that? Thank you very much. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very long day ahead of us today, and I haven't introduced the dignitaries. I just would like to say that we will be starting on the ground of protocol by taking the opening prayer. And by way of the opening prayer, can I request that we please bow down our hearts, and in about a minute, let's appreciate God for this very great day, because He's the giver of life. Let's thank Him for yesterday, what He did for us yesterday. Yesterday was a very, very rewarding day. Let's appreciate Him. Let's also commit today into His very benevolent hand that is going to take absolute control of all the presentations, the moderation, as well as the device that we'll be using. And all this we pray from my own end in the mighty name of Jesus. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, can we take the national anthem? Can we take the national anthem? Is the national anthem ready for us? Arise, O comfort. Thank you very much. We may be seated. Thank you very much. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like I told you before, today is going to be a very exciting day because we're starting already on a very, very good note. And we'll be bearing in mind the need to conserve time, which is the hallmark of virtual meetings. Right now, it will be my pleasure to invite the chairman of the Lagos Area Committee of the Council, a woman of substance, a woman that is a go-getter, and somebody who is very, very diligent in all she does. Today is this event is another clear testimonial of our commitment to the growth of the Lagos Area Committee and by implication, the growth of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers and the broking practice within our area of jurisdiction, which is the Lagos area. I'm talking about Mrs. Bukola Ifemade. So I invite her to come and welcome us formally to set the tone for this very great event. Mrs. Ifemade, please.
She's muted.
Please, can you unmute, madam? Unmute, please. Please, could she be unmuted at the hand there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you are good.
We're sorry about that. We're just trying to deal with interferences. Okay, so thank you very much, our MC, our Assistant Executive Secretary of our Council, Mr. Tope Adaramola. I welcome everybody to day 2 of our event. I appreciate and welcome on board our President, the Chairman of our Governing Council of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Dr. Mrs. Bola Onikogi. I welcome you today, Ma. Thanks for being with us yesterday, and thank you for being here today again. I welcome our Deputy President of our Council, Barrister Rotimi Edu. I welcome our Vice President, Mr. Tunde Ogutade, and of course, our Chief Executive Officer of the Council, the Executive Secretary, Mr. Fatai Adebelo. You're welcome, sir. All our past presidents online joining us, all board members online joining us, all our guest speakers today and yesterday who are also part of us today, all the panel of discussants and our moderators, all the past LAC chairmen on board, all the executive members of Lagos Area Committee, all our sponsors, my professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the executives of the Lagos Area Committee, I welcome you to the second day of our media workshop, which kicked off yesterday. While we had a great time and great discourse yesterday, today promises to be very exciting as well. The media workshop is one of our two major events in Lagos Area Committee of NCRIB. For a physical meeting, usually it will take us a full day of activities and different segments held. But now, under the new normal and the social distancing, we have to go virtual. As expected, we cannot keep everyone glued to their devices for a whole day without compromising the quality of the content. Thus, the need for us to break the virtual program into 2 days for best experience for everyone, both our guests and us as the participants. At yesterday's edition, Peter Braid of Canada gave good account of what has made our counterparts in Canada, the Insurance Brokers of Canada, thrive, with their sector contributing about 5.4 billion Canadian dollars to the nation's economy. And that translates to roughly 1.6 trillion to the nation's GDP. I mean, 1.6 trillion naira to the nation's GDP through their over 38,000 strong members. As they share with us how they achieved this through advocacy, while simultaneously building very strong brand for their members. We appreciate our Dr. Mrs. Onigogi, who is our president, who also, since ascension to office, starting from the very night of our investiture, she has been engaging the government on our behalf, both at the federal and state levels, on insurance brokers matter, and of course, in effect, also building our brand. I thank you so very much, ma'am, for all your efforts thus far, and so much more to come. And I believe our leadership will consider some of the other areas shared yesterday by Mr. Braid through the involvement with local governments and our council having input during elections at all levels in our country. Today, we are going to be hearing from the organizations who have made tremendous impact for the benefit of our professional cousins in the banking sector. Systems Spec Limited is a major member of the FinTech Association of Nigeria, and now every business cannot but go through remitter to make payments to the federal government. We welcome the Executive Director, Mr. Jeremy Adeton Atoda, who will be sharing and offering ideas on how similar innovations can also be made for our insurance industry, especially for us as insurance brokers. EFINA is also an organization that are focused on financial inclusion at the grassroots, and through their activities, they have enabled increase in the number of bank customers. So we are happy to also welcome on board today their head of programs, Ms. Ashley Emmanuel, who will be sharing knowledge on how EFINA, who have been able to increase customer base for banks, can also drive insurance penetration. After all, insurance is a financial instrument, and a very important and critical one at that. Likewise, the Executive Director of Rugby, Dr. Oluyomi Adarape, our Microsoft partner, will be taking us on how insurance brokers, being the professional marketing arm of our industry, can increase our current efforts in deployment of fintech to increase sales, and while we are also proffering speedy and efficient service delivery to the benefit of all the stakeholders in the industry. As we know, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the whole world, and the experts in the house today will be sharing experience and also provide professional advice on the ways to have and maintain good presence of mind at all times. This cannot be taken with a pinch of salt, because sound and healthy mental mindset is actually the mind that can make sales or offer service, and more importantly, run happy homes and families, especially in this era of social distancing, where we are strongly encouraged to stay at home unless when absolutely necessary to go out. So when AXA inside HMO, through their managing director, Mr. Tope Adeniyi, will be expatiating on the L products, which is now a new great product sale opportunity for us as brokers, because since the pandemic broke out, there have been increase in requests for health insurance. And then Dr. Charles Ume, who is a first responder with the COVID-19 team, when it broke out in Nigeria, will be sharing life experiences with us, much more than what we have been reading on social media platforms. And of course, our beautiful Dr. Memuna Kadiri, who is also known as a celebrity shrink, who for years has been sought after by banks because they know that when their staff members have stable minds, then they are highly productive. Today, indeed, is very loaded, and I want to strongly encourage all of us not to miss any part. On this note, we thank you all our sponsors who have supported us financially in bringing this program together. YOA Insurance Brokers, AXA Mansard HMO, and System Specs Limited. And of course, our great Microsoft partner and our technical partner for this event, Broadway Solutions Limited. We also thank all our guest speakers and panel members for doing us the honors of their time and their priceless intellectual knowledge they're going to be sharing with us today. On behalf of the entire executive members of Lagos Area Committee and the Media Workshop Committee, I welcome everyone to today's event. Please prepare for a good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Lagos Area Committee, for that very, very resourceful speech. Very typical of you to do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. It is in this vein, ladies and gentlemen, that I would like to invite the president of our council, under whose leadership leaders have been inspired, area committees have been empowered, and everyone is given the latitude to operate and to expand the scope of their competencies. And of course, an evidence of what you are seeing playing out at the Lagos Area Committee today under our overall dynamic leadership. I'd like to invite Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigbogi, who would also give us a little insight and properly welcome everybody before we get into the sea of discussions. Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigbogi, our president. Please, could you unmute her? Please, can she be okay?
Yes, I've even done that. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
We are with you, man. Go ahead, man.
Okay. The chairman and the executive members of LAC, the deputy president of NCRIB, Mr. Rotimi Edu MNI, the vice president of our council, Mr. Tunde Oguntade, governing board members in the house, the committed executive secretary, my professional colleagues, guest speakers of today, our able moderator, Mrs. Funke Adenusi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the day 2 of the media seminar of the Lagos Area Committee of NCRIB. Permit me to reiterate my commendation to the leadership of the LAC, particularly under the dynamic and ever resourceful Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, for always coming up with ingenious programs that will improve the image of the industry and our sector. This media workshop actually started yesterday, and it was quite heartwarming that we had a rewarding engagement with the CEO of Insurance Brokers of Canada, Peter Braid. He gave a highly penetrative insight into the working of IBAC, especially with regards to the inroads made by the association through advocacy. It was indeed an eye-opener for us, as we have also taken some thoughts on how to enhance our own lobby and advocacy strategies with government and other notable corporate institutions. Of great delight was also paper. There's background noise. What's going on?
Go ahead.
Of great delight is also the paper delivered by our own Deputy President, Barrister Rotimi Edu, MNI, who highlighted some of the major strides of the NCRIB in lobby and advocacy. Most significant was the fact that most of the thoughts expressed by the speakers were in tandem with the policy thrust of the council under my leadership. You will recall that the major focus of this administration is image building and strategic lobby. I'm most enthused to note that in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have continued to make great headway in the area of lobby for the progress of our practice. We have continued to see the need to be proactive on issues that affect our subsector and the insurance broking practice, and we've been quite proactive in engaging the right institutions of government, especially the legislature. I assure you that the result of these efforts will begin to materialize for all members to appreciate in due course. Having skimmed through the highlights of the program of today, I'm happy and expectant that we shall all have a more rewarding time. The focus on fintech could not have come at a better time than now, when the industry and practitioners have to be knowledgeable about financial technology, which has started transforming the way financial services are being run. Happily, we have highly seasoned and resourceful persons on hand today to share their thoughts on the subject matter. Also, the issue of mental health is coming handy at this time when the need to meet the diverse environmental challenges are mounting significant pressure on human mind and their physical health. Needless to count the number of stress-induced health challenges such as suicide, emotional disorders, and increasing cases of debilitating terminal ailments, which we have never experienced before. I could see that you have brought together the right caliber of professionals to handle this crucial subject most competently. I must not conclude without expressing confidence in the ability of the moderator, our own Mrs. Funke Adenusi, to navigate us through the sessions to the delight and benefit of all. Once again, I welcome you all and wish you a very delightful workshop. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you very much, our president, the #1 insurance broker in Nigeria. Thank you for your dynamic leadership and for your constant inspiration to the those coming behind. Well, ladies and gentlemen, We like to get cracking now because already we've got very, very star-studded resource persons already in the house. I can see amongst the panelists, Ashley Emmanuel of FINA. I can see Dr. Mrs. Memuna Kadiri, the medical director, Pinnacle Medical Services. I have a feeling Dr. Charles Ume, senior consultant, psychology department of Luth is here. And of course, Mr. Tokwe Adeniyi, managing director, Azza Manzad HMO. They are already here. These are very, very resourceful people that we're itching to hear from. But my own duty, ladies and gentlemen, at this point is to present to you the key driver of this very, very rewarding segment. And the driver is an ardent insurance practitioner with over 30 years post-qualification experience in insurance underwriting and brokerage management. She is an alumni of the prestigious University of Lagos, where she obtained her first degree, Bachelor of Science degree in insurance, as well as master's degree in business administration, MBA. She started her career with Glanville Enthoven Nigeria Limited in 1984 and rose through the rank to become a controller. She left for a brief stint with Olympia Insurance Nigeria Limited as a deputy general manager in 1993 before she started Colzimate Insurance Brokers Limited as managing director and CEO in 1994, a position she occupies till date. Of course, our moderator today has contributed immensely to the growth and development of insurance in Nigeria through her unselfish devotion to the insurance industry. Aside her outstanding contributions and services to the NCRIB as a member of the governing board, as well as the CRIN, she has also served in various committees of the two institutions, and of course, that of the College of Insurance and Financial Management. Our moderator today, ladies and gentlemen, has flair for philanthropic activities, among other pastimes. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the moderator to you, Mrs. Olufunke Adenusi. And at this point, I will take the back seat while she navigates us through the rest of the program. Mrs. Olufunke Adenusi, you are welcome, ma'am.
Am I on?
You are on, please. You are on, please. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adaramola, for that award-winning introduction. I say good morning, members of the governing board of the NCRIB, the EXCO of the Lagos Area Committee, our panelists, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the NCRIB Lagos Area Committee 2020 Media Workshop, the theme of which is Advocacy, FinTech and Mental Health. I very much appreciate the organizers for inviting me as a moderator for this session. I will ensure in particular that we keep to the allotted time. Let me specially, once again, for fear of repetition, recognize the president of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, our dynamic Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigbugi. You have always been supportive of the Lagos Area Committee events, maybe to the jealousy of other area committees. Thank you very much, madam. I cannot but appreciate Barrister Rotimi Edu, the Deputy President, especially for your participation at yesterday's event on advocacy. Mr. Babatunde Oguntade must be specially well mentioned as the Vice President of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers and also a past chairman of the Lagos Area Committee. ladies and gentlemen, my indefatigable chairman, the chairman of all past presidents and of all past presidents, Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, definitely a woman of substance. I value your leadership very much. Yesterday, we had a rewarding session on the subject of advocacy. And today, we'll be discussing fintech and mental health. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to commence the program by taking up the part 1 on fintech. Fintech simply means financial technology. It is the traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services. In my simplicity, I say fintech is operative as a stakeholder and identifies a gap in the financial system, then comes up with innovative products that satiate particular needs. At its core, fintech is utilized to help companies, business owners, and consumers to better manage their financial operations, processes, and lives by utilizing specialized software that are used on computers and increasingly on smartphones. In relation to our insurance industry, fintech innovations refer to the variety of emerging technologies and innovative business models that have potential to transform the insurance business. And an example is the iBroker software that has been designed specially for insurance brokers by Rugby Business Solution. And luckily for us, we have also as a panelist, Dr. Oluyomi Alarape, who will definitely intimate us about the software later on in the program. As you know, technological developments and the changing expectations of the customers are the main drivers of innovation in the insurance industry. These innovations are being developed by incumbent insurance companies and new technological firms or companies known as insurtech startups. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe with this background, I have been able to actually set the tone for this session of the 2020 media workshop of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Lagos Area Committee, of which I was also a past chairman. We will now proceed to part 1 of the workshop, and the topic is financial technology. May I crave your indulgence to introduce the first panelist of this session, Mr. Jeremy Atonda, Executive Director, System Spec. Jeremy has been involved in the conceptualization, development, and implementation of many private and public-led, tech-led initiatives in Nigeria and other African countries for about 20 years. His diverse experience spans project design and delivery, product development, change management, business development, marketing and strategy in the fintech and other ICT sectors. He has a first degree in physics from the University of Ibadan and MBA from the prestigious Lagos Business School. He is also alumnus of the Stanford University Seed Program, and he will speak to us on the topic financial technology. Sir, I yield the floor to you for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Dear moderator, you've done an awesome job. And I want to say thank you for making the job easy for me. I want to say congratulations to the President and Chairman of Council, Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigogi, on this auspicious occasion. It's obvious that insurers are on top of the game. COVID has not been able to hold us back. I also want to thank the chairman of the Lagos Area Committee, Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, who has been described in many flowery words here today. I also want to say a big thank you to all members of our team who have made this happen, and particularly to all guests, members, the media, and other stakeholders here present today. It indeed gives me great pleasure to be able to share thoughts in the next 10 minutes on fintech. And I'm going to be narrowing this down to how fintech can help us to provide and present insurance as a viable and vibrant financial service. And if the screen can just be taken down so I can share my screens, I've got a few slides. I think there's a screen that's been projected now. I'll need that to come down so I can beam the few slides that I have. Okay, thank you. And like I said, it is just to share thoughts on repositioning insurance as a financial service through financial technology. And well, I represent System Specs. I don't know if you can still hear me.
We can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. But it looks like the administrator, the slides are not advancing here now. Well, if the slides are not advancing, I'll probably just speak through them. I don't know if you can see my slide now. Yeah, and like I said, we've been in business about 30 years now in different sectors of the economy, private and public. We've also got a Pan-African footprint, and over the years, many successful initiatives we've undertaken, which gives us the confidence that technology is the way to go. Today, after almost 30 years, the major focus of the business is in fintech, and you can see that exemplified in some of the logos on the left of the screen. Our remitter product, our human manager, and of course, our PayLink, which is a new introduction. Well, to get this discussion started, I want to just share some thoughts, just 5 of them with us here, to drive this discussion. 1, insurance penetration is reported to remain under 1% in Nigeria. That gives food for thought, especially for those of us who are practitioners. If insurance is considered a financial service, why is penetration still under 1%? What needs to be done? If it's viable, if it is needed. 2, compliance is still largely driven by legislation. If legislation were removed from insurance, will it be considered a matter of life and death? And I will transpose that question to mean, how do we present insurance as a viable financial service? What exactly do we need to do? Why is insurance not top of mind as a financial service? Is it considered elitist? Is it considered as something else to do when you've done every other thing? Is it just natural that people don't want to think about risk, or it's the way risk is being presented by the very nature of calling it risk? And some other thoughts that I'm about to ponder, which I'll be speaking to in the next 8 minutes or thereabout. Compare with other financial services. How would we rate technology adoption in our industry? What could be responsible for this? And what could we be doing differently? And on the last note, we all believe as practitioners, at least those of us who are chartered minus me, because I'm not just in there. And we believe that insurance is the only business that exists to sustain other businesses. But we need to pause. Are we the only ones who think so? Or other people really believe this? If they do, how has this translated into their reality? And in moving forward, I just want to lay it bare, like the moderator has graciously said, in terms of what financial technology is, it's just tools and services to deliver financial services. That's the honest truth. Technology, tools, and services to deliver financial services in its very, very broad term. And up on the screen, you probably see some examples, about 8 of them, because technology is really never static. Ever since the advent of the steam train, technology has been on a roll. We're the ones who need to find out what technology means within the context of our business, and how exactly we can leverage. Having said that, we just need to move on to what do we need to do. The environment of repositioning insurance with financial technology. I do not have any doubt in my mind that brokers have to be at the forefront. It was quite interesting listening to yesterday's session and being a part of it and hearing perspectives from other jurisdictions. It is clear to me as daylight that brokers are in between the market and the underwriters, and they are the ones who can feel the pulse the most as partners across the two parties. And within this space, I want to say there are 3 things I think we need to deepen. Amongst us as brokers, there needs to be deepened tech awareness. There needs to be, beyond awareness, tech enablement. So it's not sufficient to be aware. We just must move on to get enabled. By this, I mean tech should become second nature to us. We have no option but to become tech natives. And it is not who worked yesterday who not necessarily who are the forefront. The one happen. All of this is just about 3 areas which are going to represent focus. Repositioning financial technology in terms of shared technology, in terms of big data, and in terms of automating our processes. When we're tech natives, we hardly can do without any one of these 3 components. Of course, there'll be others, but I'll just narrow this discussion to 3 areas, which I believe can spark some interest, which I'll be willing to take on further. The first area will be in terms of shared technology. We need to know that for insurance to become mainstream as financial service, it must follow the tech evolution path. It must follow the tech as commodity evolution path. Tech is everything. Proprietary technology is no longer competitive. I've developed my own and I'm using it. We're in the era of technology as a platform where almost everyone has everything available to them in real time. And it is the concept you have in mind that differentiates you. In terms of technology as commodity, we need to begin to think of insurance everywhere you go. If messaging has suddenly taken over the world, and payments are being embedded, calls are being embedded, promotions are being embedded, then we need to get into an era where technology is a commodity on shared platforms with insurance everywhere. And like I mentioned earlier about being aware, one of the things I believe we can use advocacy to drive is raising the consciousness of insurance in the minds of the general public, the people we intend to provide insurance to as a financial service. One of the things I've been trying to crack my head about is what else can insurance be called except it's called insurance. Yeah, but I think I'll leave that for the professionals to deal with, because that may just be one of the things we need to crack. And within the technology ecosystem, talking about shared technology, it is clear that customers are going to continue to lead. It is no longer time for us to brag about the tech we have. We just need to flex technology to meet customers where they are. And the challenge here is that insurance needs to dig in deep within the technology ecosystem. If we don't do that, the disruption by outsiders is inevitable, that like we've seen in other industries, which are cases that are mentioned everywhere in the world, how outsiders, so to say, have disrupted accommodation and housing, transportation, communication with those big brands. It is time for us to take charge as partners within the tech ecosystem, leading that change. And that's one of the things we have found out, especially in our experience in about 30 years, the emergence of one of our products as a platform, not anything to all, was something to put in an ecosystem where we're not the only providers. It just serves as a front end that has many other players behind it. That is the tech ecosystem. And I'm happy to also say we've got vibrant relationship with operators in the industry today. And that tells us that many more things can happen when tech is provided as a shared resource in industry. The other thing I'll mention briefly is data. When we talk about big data, this is simply the only way to go. Where is this data? It will amaze you the amount of data that is available and hovering around about us that we probably are not even paying attention to. It is time to begin to think of how do we access this data and what do we do with this data? With data sitting on fintech, the insurance industry needs to consider, will it continue to wait for people to approach it? Or the industry will begin to leverage data to approach the market? So, riding on awareness, based on advocacy, it is time for us to leverage big data to get into the insurance industry, to get to our stakeholders. And let me give you an example. One of the other things we've done, which has been quiet today, we provide a data referencing service that powers the largest retail lending operations in this country. But you may not even hear about it except you need it. And this has potential to service many more industries, like the insurance. How do you get to know those who need insurance services? What do they do? Where are they? How do you qualify them? What messaging do you send to them? This is all sitting on data that's available at the data subject instances. And you'll be amazed what can be achieved. And we can say, what we've seen working with partners in the financial services industry in 2 years, riding on this capability we've provided to industry is just amazing. Retail lending has taken an entirely new dimension today, where in under a minute, your data can be made available to multiple lenders at your instance, and you can get different loan offers, and disbursements can happen all within the same minute. Is this something we'll be willing to consider in the insurance industry, that will be able to profile people and will be able to push services that match their needs based on data that we can see? So I'm advocating that fintech is a veritable tool for the representation of insurance as a financial service, leveraging data. Process automation, and this is common because the industry evolves. And the question we need to ask ourselves today, as those I believe are in the forefront of transforming this industry, is what else is not yet tech-driven? And it's a time for honest opinions and assessments. What else in our operations are left to be tech-driven. Typically, we'll talk about the front end and the back end. How easy have we made it for our customers to reach us, leveraging technology which has become their everyday reality? How are they able to access our services? Are they able to express themselves to us? Are they able to provide us with feedback? And whatever we call the back end, which are internal operations, what is left? What is left? Like I said, the question should be what else is not yet tech-driven, and that gives us an idea. If there's anything that's not tech-driven, you cannot confidently say it's tech-driven. That is what you need to automate. And gone are the days when automation was a very big word. It is as simple as just logging into social media, and every other thing behind it, you don't know what's happening, like our moderator also said. So whether it is side end, down end, up end, what we're saying is across all ends, processes need to be automated. And I want to commend the leadership of the council for the iBroker initiative. And I'm just asking myself, this is just some good dose of foresight. For some of us who have been out of the office in the last 3-4 months, like we have in FinTech, we've been operating 100% remotely, even though our platform processes in excess of trillions, confidently done remotely, securely, with people in different places. And I think the iBroker example for this industry is one that's commendable, and that's something that can be taken forward in terms of automation. And some of the things we've done in insurance across the stakeholders, premium collections, for instance, has become a piece of cake. It can be done across multi-channels, even with USSD. From agency point of view, if we're talking about providers as a financial service, the moment I'm thinking that means whatever we're doing must be available every time. When it comes to payment, we've been able to put to the market direct debit and standing order capital payments or collections so easy. These are things we've done, and you'll begin to see that just with ordinary USSD stream, people can more conveniently present. You have that are around your own payments and disbursements for claims. You have things that are around data referencing, which I spoke about earlier. For those who have their own portals or who are integrated to other solutions, you can easily have a payment gateway that even allows people from outside of here pay for subscriptions, either on behalf of parents, on behalf of children. So easy. It's also made so easy now that for people to access, you can, without any coding skill, in less than a few minutes, provide insurance services available online for people to pick and choose what exactly they want to do. And that's part of the PayLink online store we just launched, which many people are finding to be their first step into e-commerce for providing not just products, but also services. Of course, we've also got payroll, which is one of the areas where we started business, and that continues to be some part of our offerings, amongst many others we'll be willing to discuss. And like I said, I just want to narrow to these three and to leave us with something in terms of the critical factors for FinTech relevance. And there are just 4 of them I'm putting on the table around which I'll be willing to take on questions. There's a global trend that nobody should be left behind. The pandemic itself represents a huge opportunity. There's this talk about the social inclusion, nobody should be left behind, and of course, the sustainable development goals. Those are critical factors for FinTech relevance, which would very much sit in with the insurance proposition as financial service. Internet penetration makes our services available to everyone and anyone. Internet penetration in Nigeria itself is increasing by the day. Government continues to work on broadband strategy and penetration. Mobile is going everywhere. and connectivity, which is tied to internet penetration. And of course, in the space of digital currency, things are beginning to happen there. Innovation, I talked about big data already, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and robotics. Things that used to be big concepts that are now broken down. We don't need to struggle with them. They just become second nature as we step into this space. At the end of the day, all of these are aimed at customer satisfaction. What are we known for? Who are we known as? How do we take away those things people have always known us for? And what values can we layer over insurance? People don't need to think of insurance before consuming insurance, is my take in this new dispensation. It should just become second nature that people are conditioned to think of the value add rather than it as a risk management thing. In summary, I want to say that insurance continues to have huge potentials. And something just passed through my mind while I was thinking about this. No one has approached me with any new product for this COVID situation. Does it exist? Are we waiting for this opportunity to pass away? Are we waiting for customers to ask for it? Or it's already floating in there that I want to take advantage of? Two, it is clear to us that financial technology is a veritable tool to unlock the huge potentials that insurance has. Today, fintech is bundling everything and anything, and it has become a way of life. While people are consuming and buying and getting paid, insurance is embedded in that entire value chain. So it is clear to us that a partnership with the brokers who are in front of this industry can unlock potentials as we leverage financial technology. In between these 5 points, brokers are the middle. No one else is going to make this happen. We need to become tech-native transformators as brokers. We just need to take the bull by the horns. If we are desirous of unlocking the less than 1% penetration today and making this happen, we need to be at the forefront. And the good news is it can be done. It has been done in other places. An example also in Nigeria, it's almost been about 8 years that we've taken on the TSA project. Not many people believed it could be done. We also had our own fears, but today it's become Africa's largest success TSA story. And it's in that spirit, I can also tell you it can be done, no matter what the odds are. And on the last note, we are available as partners to work with you across the entire spectrum of the industry to think through things, not only as solution providers providing products, but to think through things to create models and to run them. Thank you very much. Okay.
You're muted now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Could you unmute your mic, Mr. Denusi, please? Unmute your mic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deremi Atonda, for that very insightful presentation. And my takeaway really is that I have an acronym I use in marketing insurance, which I say insurance a way of life. And today you have also opened our mind to fintech a way of life. I think we can only achieve. I believe we can only achieve insurance as a way of life if we embrace fintech as a way of life. Once again, I appreciate you, Mr. Deremi Atonda. And you have also told us that your door is open for us to exploit, and we will definitely do that. The second panelist is Ashley Emmanuel. Ashley is the head of programs at EFINA, an organization that promotes financial inclusion in Nigeria. In this role, Ashley leads EFINA's efforts to provide credible information about the Nigerian financial sector that can be used to create a more inclusive financial system. Ashley holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in sociology from the Duke University. Good morning, Ashley.
Please, can we move on to the next panelist? She's not in yet.
Okay. The next panelist is Dr. Oluyomi Alarape. With over 22 years experience in the technological space, Dr. Alarape has built an experience in enterprise architecture, infrastructure, technical advisory services, systems integration, service operations management, cloud business modeling, business leadership, business process improvement, and change management, all built across IT consulting, insurance, financial services, and software development industries. Dr. Alarape is a graduate of electrical engineering with an MBA from the University of Liverpool and a doctorate degree in business admin, also at the University of Liverpool, United Kingdom. Dr. Alarape will talk to us on technology as a tool for insurance penetration for the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much. I welcome you onto the floor, Dr. Oluyomi Alarape.
Thank you very much, Ma. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. And let me know when you can see my slides. Can everyone see my slide?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good morning, and thank you for this great opportunity to be part of the workshop. All protocols are duly observed. I really want to thank the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers and the great work done by the entire body, the chairman, the president. It's a great honor to be part of this journey together with you. And I will be talking about technology as a tool for insurance penetration. We cannot overemphasize the use of technology as a tool for insurance penetration. And this is a very strategic topic for the industry, and is also critical for the brokers' continuous relevance to the sector. As I go on, I also appreciate Mr. Adoremi Atonda for the great presentation, and a lot of things that he talked about. Since we are talking about technology, you will just see how they all go together, even though we've not shared scripts, but it's just the beauty of seeing technology, seeing fintech, seeing insurtech as a way of life. And I will be exposing more in the next 10 minutes on how the insurance brokers, we can see this as a great tool, and be talking about iBroker and what we've done. Within the short time that I have, I'll briefly look into my slide moving place, because I'm on the second slide. So within the short time that I have, I'll be briefly looking to, fintech. A lot has been said about fintech, so I will just, use that just as a foundation. We look at the many faces of fintech, which and how this is changing the industry. I will also talk about insurtech and the opportunities for brokers to stay relevant and lead the curve. And then we'll proceed to the broker's dilemma on how to navigate these emerging challenges. We'll then talk about how you choose the right technology model for your business, and also about ROGI, the new normal. A lot has been said about COVID-19. So the new normal for you as a broker. And then, I will end with iBroker as your technology tool for penetration and differentiation. These are technologies that are enabling businesses to transform themselves and do things in better ways than before. And rather than trying to defend the old business model, it is very, very important for everyone here listening to me to understand the need of your core customers, maintain focus on your core mission as insurance brokers, and not just sales for insurance, but being strategic advisors to your customers and clients. So when we talk about fintech, we've had a lot in Asia technology, and I must commend the initial introduction by Mrs. Adenusi, of which she clearly, stated it in the context of finance and technology. But more as you see, it is an umbrella term that refers to technologies, innovation, methodologies, and how companies, are able to start up new services to reshape what financial service landscape is all about. So it's used to describe new technology that seeks to improve and automate the delivery and use of financial services. As you can see here, and it cuts across many facets, right from payments, of which we've had a bit from system spec and the entire payment platform. But we see how mobility and mobile phones and USSD, as we've had in this, is actually disrupting the business model entirely. And when we talk about disruption is something that a lot of, there's a fear of disruption, and it has made many to embrace the need to rethink and adapt their organization. And I'm going to be talking a bit around that also for us as insurance brokers. While we do understand that there is no method that is foolproof, and in some cases, even it's inevitable, we've seen some businesses that are completely disrupted by threat from asymmetric competition, which is not the kind of competition they are used to or where they are looking at competition coming from. But we see this come in different shapes and forms. So it's critical to be prepared to cope with disruption. And, these have become a buzzword, but the idea of disruption has grown in relevance, and as every industry faces increasing unpredictable threats, at the same time, we see how this is affecting these businesses, especially for those who are not able to promptly evaluate their business models and explore ways to stay in business and be relevant. What is obvious is that the rule of business has changed, and the former or the traditional digital revolution has turned the whole business playbook upside down. As you see the spread of technologies and the rise of new disruptive threats that are transforming the different business models and processes. The fact of disruption is actually inescapable, and it's more diverse and driven more than just lowering prices or cost or accessibility to new customers. This can be triggered by quite a greater value proposition for the customers, which is what where we should be as brokers and what we're going to be looking at. Disruption is really total as most disruptors that you see across the different industries. We see in assets and wealth management, in insurance, we are seeing more around data. We've had just in the presentation about big data. Data will be a recurring decimal you're going to be hearing and analytics. More importantly, personalized value proposition, while proactively managing risk. The concept of personalized value proposition, I will talk a bit about as we go on, but largely it's about providing a context-based services and experience. It has to go beyond the traditional ways we do today, where we have a list of products and it's what the products we can think of that we give to the customers. But how are we using information and data from the customers to inform the kind of products that we put forward as brokers? So we have to rethink how we connect and how we create value with our customers. We have to transform how we need to think about our competition, how we think about data that we've talked about, that is just presented now, and the ways in which we innovate our business. It's extremely important that we look at that, and this forces us to think differently about how we can understand and create value for our customers. Then I'll go to the next slide. Can you hear me? Just want to be sure that I'm still live.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so very much. So now, when we talk about notes on in the insurance sector, I just want to bring this home, and that this is the reality of where we are today. People are having a lingering apathy for insurance in Nigeria, and this is driven largely by cultural and religious beliefs, low per capita income, and the low insurance literacy. A lot has been said today about advocacy, but lack of customer trust and confidence in insurance is a major issue that it stares us in the face today. We've heard about compulsory insurance, but even low implementation of such, and the lack of professionals that are adequately skilled are the realities that we deal with today. The insurance industry still lags behind other sectors in terms of technology innovation and adoption, and that's why we're here, and that's part of what I think I must commend the Ncrib leadership in working with us and Microsoft in building and finding ways and starting the journey. We're just starting the journey, but I think it's a good thing that we started the journey in transforming this experience for the industry and for the country at large. And we also talk about the insurance products are still, largely based on what the industry produces and not what the customer wants. And that's another area that iBroker and our products we have been, looking at how we can strategically take insights, take information, data from different sources, be it social channels and different ways of which people can interact and use this to put forward products and ideas that people can, customers can subscribe to. The Nigerian economy is expanding, as we know, and new risks are also evolving. Hence, there's a growing need for companies and for individuals to ensure their businesses and protect themselves in the event of unexpected losses. It's been said earlier, with an estimated insurance penetration rate of about, we had 1%, but 0.7% to 1%, according to the African Insurance Trend at PwC, and only 1.5% of our population actually holds any form of insurance policy. The opportunity in this country is actually enormous, and this is part of why I would like to see, and I want us to reflect more on that. If you look at that number of 20 million Nigerians, it's just 1.5% of the population that is holding a form of insurance policy, not to talk of the emerging opportunities as we are able to get data, collect data, and use data to make a concrete business decision. So there's also need to optimize the distribution channel, and with the brokers and the agents and the rest can make insurance available to the population. I'll be going on to the next one, in which we look now into InsurTech. I'm not going to spend time on this because even the introduction says a lot about InsurTech. But what stands clear today is that according to research that is, that is done in this area, assessing in which the preparedness of insurance companies to deal with major drivers that are changing the market was conducted. Most of the insurance companies were found in Nigeria. This was in Nigeria, were well organized at the board level, at the executive level, and in certain functional areas such as their finance, sales, customer success, HR, and their internal processes. However, the majority were genuinely less well prepared in IT, in information technology, in actuarial risk and compliance and marketing. So overall, it was really clear that most insurance were focused on dealing with short-term effects of the changing environment. And what is needed, though, is a radical, rethink of how we build a future in an increasingly competitive and rapidly changing economy. So that is a very key thing. The customers are becoming more demanding. They are becoming more savvy. So there's something I would want to call Operation Know Your Customer, KYC. But my definition of KYC transcends the traditional just collecting basic data, your name, your address. It starts from there. That's very important. I'm not saying that's not important. But it's actually going beyond that, using technology to manage demand and flexible customer products, because these are things that the customers want. They want to see more options, less cumbersome processes, creative and value add. You've had value add before. Today, we're going to be hearing more around value added insurance products that scale, skeptical public trust to deliver positive customer experience that will better make the case for insurance in general. They also want it now. That is the challenge. They want it now. The COVID-19, really brought a lot to bear in which, we cannot move around. And I'm going to get a bit more into that. But they want this and they want it now. And they want it at the most competitive price. So they want it tailor-made. They want it now. They want it, at a very competitive price. And they also want the assurance. They need the advice to sign up the best policies for their situation. So this is an extremely great opportunity. And the good news here is that the brokers are still relevant today and they're still going to remain relevant. It's time to embrace technology to remain relevant. Why? Because customers, clients, consumers, they need help when they are purchasing their insurance plan, with more commonly purchasing the wrong type of policy. And that's where, as brokers, we come in to be able to offer advice and to be able to ensure that there is a smooth sign up and experience for the customer, in which they're going to appreciate you as a broker being able to give them the best value for money. The insurance broker is a field force of the insurance sector, and you have to be able to provide the differentiation here. The dilemma here is, okay, how do we ensure ease of doing business amidst the realities of our country? We've had a bit about sales process automation today. I will allow you to go through this. I wouldn't be going just through this. I would just want you to reflect on this as you being part of this presentation. But what is clear is you struggle with this regulatory compliance. You want to be able to, there are mandatory periodic reports and accountability. The current way of going about this, in which we manually visit the customers or potential customers, write this down, go back to the office, put it in an Excel sheet. Excel is fantastic, and try to now correlate that, go back and forth. We've built the COVID-19 situation actually brought a huge opportunity or challenge, as the case may be, because it happened and everyone has to work remotely. The server is in the office. So how do you ensure we are able to provide services to our customers during this period? How do we ensure that we're able to provide the advice and use technology to offer a seamless experience, meet up with regulatory compliance, ensure our process improvement, and at the end of the day, grow our business. In growing our business, wanting to be efficient, effective, and increasing the chances of success. So KYC for me entails, the business needs to understand the different and the 5 core customer behaviors, which is around, providing access to the customers, potential customers and clients, engaging them and customizing a solution to fit their requirements, continue to connect with them, and to collaborate with them. These are the drivers for the experience that we have built into iBroker. I would not want to leave this slide without talking about understanding what you are selling and the value to your customer. There's a huge white space there in Nigeria. I had Mr. Doremi asked about, okay, what product has come out COVID-19 opportunity, and I just put this here before in my presentation, looking at, okay, even the cyber insurance and quite a number of huge white spaces today. We know that the health sector and the supply chain have been hugely affected by COVID-19, amongst others. So how do we use this understanding to better serve our customers and provide values to our customers? In adopting solutions for you as a broker, what you need to think about. So basically, you want to look at your strategy development. What's your business objective? One-stop shop for your business needs. You want to be able to get all in one and in a simple way with extreme, fantastic user experience for you as a broker. We must be able to assist you to get more customers. We talk about that, leveraging the social, the mobility, the analytics, and the cloud. We have to be scalable. You must be able to submit your NICOM reports without hassles. We have to be secure. Security is extremely important because once you lose this, you actually will lose the customer, and a very cost-effective solution. You also have to be cost-effective. About us, we are a team of world-class professionals that we have served with the consistent delivery of trailblazing solutions that guarantees the optimum productivity. What are we saying here? We are focused in doing what most people want to say is not possible. Actually, a major driver for us has been that they say it's not possible in Nigeria to do this or to raise a set of professionals that compete at the highest level. So we're a local company, and we have a number of, in the last 6 years that we have been operating, we've had a number of, recognitions and accolades and worldwide recognition that is not common in this space of partners in Nigeria that works with Microsoft. We've been worldwide partners. We recognized at the worldwide level in 2017, 2018, 2019, and we've been the partner of the year 2019 and 2020. What I'm trying to buttress here is that we have the expertise, we have the experience, and we have a proven record, and we have results to show for it in terms of our first-class services and the strategic partnership working with Microsoft and working with the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Broker is also a testament to this. The COVID-19 came, as we saw, and it changed the way we work. If you start with some few facts, you can see that COVID-19 has thrown undiagnosed problems in everyone from the health pandemic issues to financial crisis, as we see. There is a heightened risk of a surge in health and travel and business interruptions, as we have seen that everything has like grounded, the supply chain and event cancellation claims leading to lower interest rates. The good news is that with technology for you as brokers, we will be able to leverage machine learning, and the artificial intelligence will continue to be relevant to us and to you here. And it must start, with you running your business using data, which is what iBroker brings to bear for you. Secondly, is actually the pressure on sales from reduced business activity lending. to increase credit risk exposure from businesses that are, facing possible default. It goes back again to using the data analytics and insights and technology that will continue to be relevant here. The third one is we're going to be seeing less of the face-to-face channel, as we've seen that we cannot even move around. So more of web conferencing and like what we're doing today while we're having the workshop this way. If anyone says last year, this is going to be where we are today, most of you will like say this is not possible. It's not, we can't even imagine it, and the implications for the sector. So we build iBroker for you with to withstand this kind of shock. And lastly, the traditional IT and other support services that may deteriorate because of internal challenges or vendors' inability to scale. This is why we have iBroker for you for such a time like this. You can scale on demand without any requirement for manual intervention. In the past year, we launched iBroker, and our team worked tirelessly with Ncrib team, thanks to the leadership of Mrs. Scholar Femadi and the entire association and the entire brokers community for us to fully understand the processes for Nigeria, that is to build an automated solution that is tailored to the needs of the brokers in Nigeria. It's not just something we import from abroad, with approximately over 2 million hours of coding and the financial launch of iBroker at Ncrib 16th AGM in 2019, end of year lecture and award night. It has been a remarkable journey so far for us, and we see this as part of our own contribution to the industry, as part of our own. We are putting our skin in the game because we believe that we believe in this, and we believe in the impact this is going to have on the country. So we've worked with Ncrib to develop an appropriate, relevant insurance product which is reasonably priced, as low as 5,050 naira for a 3-user bundle. So you be a small broker to the very big ones. We have this iBroker is your choice solution to use, and due to our passion to help businesses improve on their productivity, irrespective of their sizes, as SMEs to the very big brokers, we are committed to using technology to promote insurance sector depth and efficiency, as this will help to develop the market. So this is the good news. The good news is that we built iBroker from ground up. It's tailored fit for our market. iBroker provides the opportunity to reappraise your business model. You can use iBroker to provide context-based products and services to your customers through efficient and automated lead management, policy management, claims management, automated claims management. You are seeing in the next release now, as we continue to do a feature release chatbot, which is going to give you 24/7 assistance for you as brokers and also for your agents. And also artificial intelligence is being ingrained into it so that you can do a predictive analysis of your customers, those who are going to pay, those who are not going to pay, and things like that that is not common and that we don't see here today. I'm so going to be handling with this. Thanks for this opportunity again. As we go through the process, through the different phases and calls, and the opening and relaxed lockdown, the new normal calls for expedited action from the brokers to embrace digital customer engagement. Please be ahead of the curve and turn this situation to good. Leverage iBroker to simplify your products and your services. This is iBroker in this, so I have just a short video for which we introduce iBroker. I would like everyone, to just listen to this, and then and as we listen to this, we So this is a video that is just a quick instill. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Yes, let me just end with this because we'll share the video later because of our time. Let me end with this. During the first wave of industrial revolution, power sources dictated the design of factories and the way that work could be done within them, up until electric power came. And electric power eliminated the constraints and it opened the possibility for an entirely new plant system. It became a blind spot to the incumbent plant owners because they were so used to the constraints and assumptions of hundreds of years of plant design, and hence they could not see the possibilities before them. COVID-19 is a wake-up call for all, and it's such an amazing opportunity for everyone to join on this transformation journey to transform your business as brokers, to deliver great value to your clients, to your business, to the industry, and to the country at large. Thank you so very much, and I look forward to I can take any questions. Thanks a lot for this. Thanks.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Alarape. Even though I would say that on behalf of the president, we will be seeking for a reduction in our subscription fees, because when we enroll onto the iBroker, because you have really taken advantage of this forum to promote iBroker. My takeaway, however, my professional colleagues, is that there is a need to stay focused on our clients for excellent service delivery through the use of financial technology like USSD, mobile payments, digital revolution, etc., which are causing disruptions everywhere in the banking sector. The big data, personal value propositions, use of information to meet the client's need. We must think of how we can connect with our customers and deliver value. Thank you once again, panelists, for this session. We will now go into the question and answer session. I hope we have indicated in the boxes on our computer the questions that have been agitating our mind or contributions that we want to make towards this subject of financial technology. I can't see my box.
The second presenter is available now. The second panelist.
Okay. Okay. I should have asked.
Sorry, the moderator. I presume that is Mr. Olufemi Awoniyi, who is standing in for Ashley because she's having some difficulties at her hand. I hope I'm correct.
Yes, you are correct. Good afternoon.
All right. So please, moderator, just present him as Ashley Emmanuel. Thank you.
We have actually gone through the profile of Ashley Emmanuel, and we have been told that what she will consider as the basis of this forum is that we ask her questions that are pertinent to the subject. Ashley, considering the topic of our discussion, financial technology, kindly tell us about the actual focus of EFINA. Sir, I invite you to please discuss that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, EFINA.
So EFINA's actual focus can be summarized into just two words: financial inclusion. So we have essentially 4 pillars that we pull on to drive financial inclusion in Nigeria. One of them is research, where we conduct studies and surveys to inform our understanding of people at the bottom of the pyramid. The next is innovation, where we offer grants funding to innovative solutions that help offer financial services to, again, those at the bottom of the pyramid, the underserved and the underbanked. The next is digital financial services, where we look through ways to promote and advocate for the uptake and the more inclusiveness of digital financial services in Nigeria. And the last but not the least is advocacy, where we engage with various regulators and governmental officials to, again, create an enabling and more inclusive environment for financial service providers as a whole. So in summary, that is really what the FINA focuses on.
Thank you very much, sir. Taking you up on the issue, on the focus on research, do you actually think that there are uninsured but ready to be insured Nigerians waiting for particularly insurance brokers to reach them by way of insurance penetration?
So yes, I think that there are people that are ready to be insured in Nigeria, and insurance has a number of obstacles that can't be ignored. One of them are around just a lot of people just don't know about these insurance products. I can quote our A2F 2018 survey actually showed that the insurance sector actually only covers about 2% of the Nigerian adult population. So there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of people actually knowing about these insurance products. Then there's also, finding ways to create commercially viable use cases for a lot of these people that are, again, more underserved and underbanked. So I definitely think that, there are people that are ready. And some of the reasons why I actually think that people are actually ready right now is because Nigeria has a savings culture. About 55% of Nigerians save, and if you look at what they save for, what you'd find is, things like emergency, medical bills or expenses, surprise medical bills or expenses, or things like school fees, all of which can actually be insured. And when you actually look at some of the things, some of the ways that they cope with disasters and catastrophes, usually involves either borrowing money from friends and family or just depleting them savings, all of which again are less favorable to insurance. So I think we have the baseline in terms of the need for insurance, at least the insurance cover, even if they don't know what the insurance is. But again, there's still a lot of work to be done around overcoming the obstacles that stand in our way.
Thank you very much. My last question, is there any plan for FINA to promote micro insurance?
Oh yes,
because I know you are doing a lot of research work, and I just wonder how you will support us on the subject of insurance penetration by way of micro insurance.
Okay, so thank you for that question. So we actually, FINA aims to help along two lines. The first one is research, like I touched on earlier. We recently just conducted a fintech landscape assessment report, where we just took a deeper dive into our understanding of the Nigerian financial sector as a whole and how fintechs tend to play within the space. So within that bit of research, we showcased some findings around what the insurance space is saying. So for instance, we some things that we see are that the insurance space is underserved. Insurance tech contributes to less than 3% of the total fintech revenue pools. And there's a lot of opportunity within health insurance and MSME insurance. So we'll be disseminating this full report next month. So this is part of the ways we aim to help to inform some of the strategic directions that insurance providers like yourselves might be aiming to do. And the next is that FINA aims to continue to provide grants funding to see and to basically identify innovative ways that fintechs in Nigeria can start providing insurance covers to the more vulnerable and underserved demographic we have in the country. That's what I'll say for now.
Thank you very much. Tope has permitted me to call you Ashley.
It's a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have indicated our questions in the question box, which I would like reflected here. I don't have it. I don't know if I can have direction as to...
No questions yet, ma'am.
No questions. Wow, that means that we have had a very fulfilling session. On behalf of, if there are no questions, I think we should round up this session. On behalf of the NCRIB Lagos Area Committee, I want to thank each and every one of the panelists for the contribution that they have made on the subject of financial technology.
Sorry, I think I was actually trying to ask the question. I didn't know I was voted.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, from what Mr. Jeremy presented, and actually left us with two closers. And it was talking about the insurance opportunities that COVID-19 brought up. I would say, yes, there's actually been an upsurge in requests for health insurance, life insurance, and critical health, because a lot of people came down with stroke following the unexpected losses they suffered as a result of COVID-19. So there's been an upsurge in requests for critical health insurance and life insurance. However, I wanted to ask Mr. Jeremy and Dr. Larakwe that yes, we've had so much, but I didn't hear if there had been any specific solution apart from iBroker, which is for our operational stuff, any specific tools for the insurance industry, particularly for insurance brokers, i.e. USSD. You mentioned the USSD tool for banks. When you put a USSD, you discover that it's actually for all the banks, and once you start typing it in, it will bring up list of banks to know which of the banks you want to use the USSD for. So is there anything like that, or is it in the making for insurance industry, especially for insurance brokers? When somebody wants to pay my company, they just put in a short code. So that is one question. And my second question is to Tina. Femi did say they actually already, it's very good to hear that they're already compiling a report, while working for financial inclusion, and they've been able to generate reports, especially during this COVID. And I want to ask if they also have us in mind, and if they don't, so that when they are sharing the information, they could also share with our council, ably represented today, our president. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ma. I think from our side, as I said, we continue to release new features actually on a weekly basis on iBroker, and this is one of the areas that we are taking a look at and we are working on. And I must say and let you know that we're also definitely going to be extending a number of this together with Systems Tech. We currently run a number of projects together with them also in terms of the partnership and how we can better leverage our strengths together to offer kind of solutions for the industry. So that is what we're currently working on, and it's in the making. And this is all going to be fully available in iBroker. But much more we're going to also tend to see the more we get more data into the system, so that we'll be able to provide more around predictive guidance and even areas of policies that brokers traditionally are not considering today, or it's not there, but it becomes a very strategic area for us to look into and provide more value to the industry as brokers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I have a question for Mr. Atunda. What is your assessment of the insurance industry role on financial inclusion? What is your assessment of our industry and the role?
Yeah, thank you very much, didn't say. I don't know if you can hear me, but before I go into that, I'll probably want to take on the part of what Tolara spoke to in response to the chairman's request if there were specific tools for insurance. And my answer to that is all the tools you need, all the financial tech tools are available. You are the ones to now determine what offerings do you have for the market. There's no one size fits it all. Because we call it USSD, for all you care, this was being used for some other purposes before now, until some people tweaked it for another purpose. And that is why once you are clear that you are delivering financial service, it will find expression in the multitude of tools that exist. You'll be shocked what you can use WhatsApp to do in this industry. Once that transformation orientation happens that we're providing financial services. For instance, today, people can now do payments through WhatsApp. How did it come about? WhatsApp was supposed to be a messaging tool. People now advertise businesses. People now have stores there. So it is for you to say what financial service are you offering that you can leverage these tools to take out. And that takes me on to the question the moderator has graciously asked. That's about being almost on the spot, my assessment of insurance as a financial service. To the extent, like I said, that in the last 4 months, when the whole world really needed insurance, but I didn't get a flag, and there was a service I could subscribe to, I think that's an indication of what I consider. I may be far from the services, but I think when I talked about the pull and push, the industry shouldn't any longer be waiting for people to come looking for its services. What were the things people were doing during this period that they would have needed some value added support? And I was being serious when I said if we could find another name for insurance. I think it's been so much etched into the social norm that it's become a disservice. So what can we do and how can we present services that speaks to the need of people? Do you know the number of parents that bought tabs for their children during this period? Why wasn't there insurance behind it? Why couldn't we say as brokers for every tab, all you needed to do was 10 naira and we'll replace screens for free? Do you know the number? Tabs are not even available in the market anymore. All the tabs have been bought because children are schooling online. Okay. So in the Medicare, and I'll just compare with medical insurance. Medical insurance is insurance and it's thriving. Why is it thriving? Because it has entered into the minds of people that that's important. But the things that can be preventive, who's investing in it? But I think, and that's my opinion, and I just hope I'm wrong, but I would love to be part of the solution. We need to change the mindset right from the inside, what we call insurance. If what we will call it will be value-added services, then we really need to, and that's why I'm saying the advocacy engagement of yesterday can be very positive. And one also said, take legislation out. Why should our industry thrive on legislative coercion rather than personal conviction? Until people get a sense of need that this is a financial service I need, we probably may still be struggling to cross the 1%, 2% adoption of insurance as a financial service. But like I said, one session is not enough to look at all of these issues. We'll be willing to organize many more fora. With, of course, Dr. Labo graciously has been on another platform. And these are things we can speak to. So the discounts you're asking for can come in different ways. Because once you build a pie bigger, there's a whole lot more that people are willing to pay for in terms of value. And we've seen this happen in other places. It can happen here. And trust me, we have what it takes to transform this industry as we work together. Thank you again.
I almost regret asking the question, but again, it is a wake-up call for each and every one of us, insurance brokers and the whole insurance industry. At this point, I would like to round up this session by thanking each and... Is there any other question again?
In the chat box, there are 2 questions, man.
Sorry, I can't see the chat box here.
Oh, okay.
And also, we don't have so much time. Again, we're already behind time, and I want to try to keep to the time. Can we take one of the, can somebody take one of the questions?
Does EFINA plan to conduct yearly insurance industry surveys?
So please.
Is the representative of Ashley there?
Yes, I am here. Please, I didn't get the question, please. Could you please repeat?
Can we take the question again?
So the question is, yeah, go on, please.
Does EFINA plan to conduct yearly insurance industry surveys?
So EFINA, generally speaking, conducts biannual surveys just to refresh our understanding of the financial inclusion landscape as a whole, which typically includes insights on the insurance space and how microinsurance, as far as insurance coverage in the informal sector goes. So I would say, if as far as EFINA providing research and insights, we can probably look to something closer to biannual output.
Since there are just two questions, maybe we'll just briefly take the second one.
Oh, no problem, please.
Okay, so the second question is, are there regulations? Yes. Are there regulations in the insurance industry that will drive technological innovation and adoption with the brokers community?
So one regulation that comes to mind is the I believe it's the micro pension plan that was rolled out by PENCOM a number of years ago. So I think directionally, the plan has a lot of I see the vision in terms of its ability to actually catalyze the insurance space as a whole, and including the kinds of service delivery that brokers can offer. But again, then there still needs to be a discussion around the implementation, at least from a regulatory standpoint. How either forceful or how seriously are the regulators implementing compulsory insurance covers, for instance, or and also how collaborative are the regulators being in engaging fintech companies or fintech representatives to see how what kind of opportunities can be explored together. Because when you look at the opportunities that actually do exist in the insurance space in Nigeria, a lot of it exists from an ICT or from a technological innovation standpoint. Like the panelists who spoke before me, spoke about iBroker. That there's a need for us to change the way of working, yes, but there's also a need for us to find other technological innovations that can be explored leveraging mobile phones, for instance, as a touch point. So just thinking through that, and especially with regulators, because this discussion must include regulators to actually drive the kind of outputs that can be had in the insurance space. So at a high level, that's what I'll say as far as just regulatory and fintech collaboration goes.
Thank you very much, Ashley Emmanuel.
It's been a pleasure.
And with that, I say a very big thank you to all the panelists of this session, the contribution that you have made to us the topic, financial technology. You have really challenged us, and go back to the drawing board. We will go back to the drawing board and implement a lot of your advice. On this note, we round up the session, and I would like Tope to enlighten me as to if the plaques will be given to the panelists at this session now or later. Or if the chairman is there, and I know the intention.
No, ma. You can go ahead and present the speaker to us, and then we take their lectures as you just did.
Okay, so I should go into the next session.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, ma. Go ahead. Go ahead, ma.
My professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to proceed to part 2 of our session, and the main topic for discussion is mental health. Here we will examine in particular the effect of COVID-19 on the mental health of families and business owners like insurance brokers. The root intrusion of the COVID-19 pandemic is straining our healthcare and economic systems in ways that are beyond significant and obvious. Beyond this, COVID-19 poses a profound threat to our most basic human motivations, especially human connection. A lot of people are stressed out because of loss of loved ones. I am one of them. No physical human connection. Bad news all over the place. You are almost not excited at picking up your phones. Loss of hope of not knowing even when this pandemic will end. People have lost their jobs and there have been so much of salary cuts. Also, coronaphobia, which is the fear of returning back to normal after the pandemics. All these have untold hardship and strain on the mental health of a lot of citizens all over the world. Fortunately, we have here with us erudite and well-experienced speakers to talk more about how we can prevent our mental health, especially during these critical times. Let me introduce the first panelist of the session, Mr. Tope Adeniyi. Managing Director, CEO, AXA Mansard HMO. Tope's career spans over 19 years from information management sector to manufacturing and to the financial services, including insurance. An ACI holder, Tope started his career as a software and training manager with management support system before a brief stint with Capital Express Insurance. In AXA Mansard, Mr. Tope Adeniyi led a team to build the Nigerian insurance industry database for the Nigerian Insurance Association, a project to deepen insurance penetration, and he has contributed to controlling fraud. Tope will speak to us on the topic, the role and importance of HMOs to the general health and wellness in relation to mental health. We will speak for 10 minutes. I invite on the floor Mr. Tope Adeniyi.
We can't hear you.
Me?
Mr. Adeniyi.
Okay.
Mr. Adeniyi, we can't hear you.
I think his mic needs to be unmuted. Well, the IT is probably trying to get this identity.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Okay, yes. Yes, you can hear you.
Apologies for that. I'll try and keep to 10 minutes, that I will not increase the mental health issues in the conference today. Thank you for the privilege given to me from NCRIB to share some thoughts on the role of health insurance industry in the pandemic situation. And as by way of background, I would like to thank all the the organizers, starting from the chairman, the president, and all the Lagos area that organized this meeting for more awareness and enlightenment of the insurance industry on the need to drive more with technology. I think we've been doing this campaign for the past few weeks. Also, the national also had a session like this, which was quite useful because we're already in the new normal, and it's now a game of speed. We need to quickly move with agility to be able to drive more penetration into insurance. Very alarming that a very critical part of financial industry is lagging behind in terms of penetration, in terms of acquisition, in terms of the impact we're making on lives. And we are very much needed, whether be it in life, whether it be in health, whether it be in property insurance, and every area of human endeavor. Insurance is much needed. The area of insurance I'll be talking briefly about today is the health insurance, medical insurance, the side that actually provides cover for both children, adults, teenagers, and old people, workers, retired people. This is side of benefits of insurance that really is not meant to be biased towards culture or religion, because everybody requires healthcare. This is one area of insurance that everybody needs if it's properly committed to them, and everybody is meant to have. We are in a very, very challenging time. So COVID actually brought out our weaknesses and our strengths. COVID showed us how prepared we have been, both as organizations, governments, health institutions, as well as firms that support the health company as well. And I want to quickly mention a few things that COVID has actually brought to us by way of the pandemic that is not expected. First and foremost, it shows the resilience of our organizations in the industry. It shows how resilient we are in managing catastrophe. It shows how well prepared we are in managing risk itself. We are risk managers, industry players, both brokers and underwriters. We're all risk managers. It became clearer that whether we're actually able to even contain the risk ourselves. And the challenges that we have all gone through is a clear learning for us that we need to be well prepared all the time. We have cases where insurance companies are not able to operate effectively because they are not well tech-enabled, they are not tech-native, so there are lots of automation issues, and so customers cannot be served. We have cases in the health industry also that cannot go to the hospital because of lockdown, and they could not have access to doctors, to physicians, to pharmacists, to the things that would have helped them. And that increased, of course, the mental wellness issues, which colleagues medical clinical will talk about more. So the fear of not being able to even take myself, fear of I do not know what is going to happen next, the fear of I do not know whether COVID is soon be I also experienced COVID and I don't know what is going to happen to me. All of that increase, the anxiety, depressions, and the things that actually lead to mental breakdown. So that affects both families as well as businesses all around. So the preparedness of the companies, particularly the insurance industry, brokers, as well as the players, actually is reflected in how we actually handle in this area of pandemic. And I must say to you that since the pandemic started, my medical service team gave me data that the increase in mental health issues has increased by 40%, just like moderator was talking about, simply because people are now more paranoid. When you remove social life from people, social distancing means, social interaction reduction. They are not able to communicate normally. They are all social. We are meant to have touch. We are meant to have social. We are meant to see one another in order to function properly. Now that we have to see one another by screen, now that we have to keep a distance, 2 meters here and there, we have to cover our nose, cover our mouth. So that increases sometimes the stress on our, mental nerves, and that causes more problems for us. And so also, of course, there are a lot of other issues that normally create mental health challenges, including financial stress, also stress, challenges. People with insomnia when they have a lot of lack of sleep, either because of anxiety, either because of depression, either because of mood changes and all of that. That constantly increases the likelihood of mental stress. And this all together reduces the productivity both for staff as well as the organization itself. The financial issues, sometimes even domestic issues, which continually put a burden on the members of staff as well as the entrepreneurs, the organization itself. Now, so what is the impact of this on the health insurance industry? We see that lack of adequate benefits also became apparent in the area of how technical benefits were designed in insurance. So for large number of medical insurance players, they have no solution for mental health during this pandemic. I can always count outside AXA maybe one or two other companies that render mental health solutions to the point is dead off. So what then is the apparent role of insurance companies to first and foremost design benefits according to the people's needs. Number two, to be agile enough to be able to create useful solutions that can meet the needs of the people when it matters most. I'll give you an example. If there is a rise by 40% of the need for mental health solutions during the pandemic, it tells you that there is 40% more chance that organizations like medical insurance players could have actually grown their business more. So for organizations like us, we simply expanded our mental wellness, solutions. We now simply give it to everybody. Before, it was only some people who bought into it, but during the pandemic, we just made it available to everyone so that everybody on the planet could actually benefit from mental wellness solution, which ranges from awareness session, ability to, that is fora we create for companies and families and members to join online on education on mental awareness. Also, we also did clinical psychology through phone call, and people require to see the clinical psychologist after the telephone call. Actually, so the group of health insurance companies in this particular challenging time, I will summarize into number one: education and awareness. We need to constantly educate the members, and I will also challenge us work very pursue with the medical insurance provider. The education must be joined. So all the customers that you brought into medical insurance players should actually be educated from time to time in a very disciplined manner on to see how to avoid, how to mitigate, how to deal with issues around mental awareness, knowing that in our environment, it's more or less like a myth. People feel that when you have a mental health issues, you are like, okay, maybe it's becoming hallucinated or it's going mad and all of that, and everybody hides. And you know that in our environment, people don't even want to talk about psychiatry or any need to say psychology. What is psycho? It looks as if you're actually out of place. But really, the awareness is actually to let everybody know that it's not out of place. It's a systemic and gradual degradation of our mental health that leads into psychosis, that leads to frustration, that leads into more complex. And every human being has the likelihood of getting into that serious advanced state because properly honed, it's not properly handled. If we do not have right information and we take care of our body, our mental, faculty, as well our emotions and our body very adequately. The second role of health awareness is to design adequate benefits that will take care of the people, not only the body, but also the mind, which is the mental side. So we should ensure that we partner with the medical insurance player to design employee assistance programs. Employee assistance programs are the things that take care of the, which is a framework of adding psychological interventions and preventive measures onto mental health and mental well-being. So it's important to design benefits, and it's important for the brokers to partner with medical insurance players to be able to deliver this sort of service and do it effectively. Awareness, and then the designing of the program. The third area of what health insurance companies need to do, and of course in collaboration with brokers, is to constantly provide support for the providers of psychology services. So we have different providers that actually help mental wellness, value chain. You have the clinical psychologists, you have the general psychologists, you have the call center services, and of course you have the technology that actually provide a framework to get these things. But because they do it right now, it's not just actually, is that they actually do an assessment to everybody to be able to see the state of their mental wellness. You can easily pick through those technology services, through technology platform, those who have any sign of maybe depression, any sign of anxiety, any sign of fear, any sign of mental breakdown, they can early so that they can intervene very quickly. So we need to partner with the provider to give them access to the people, to give them opportunity to be able to render these services all the strata of, and I will add this, we need to become more creative by adding value-added services of mental wellness on all our products. So imagine your group life that you are giving to all the people, all the employees and all the employees. You can actually decide to put mental wellness as a value-added services on top and becomes a rider on top of it. So that's very important, right? You can begin to create new products that actually just be a bundle or an hybrid of all of these things together that improve the entire well-being of the people that are serving. That way, we begin to take insurance just from the sense of risk management, sense of well-being for people, well-being for families, and well-being for the organization. So they start seeing us not just people who are risk bearers, but people who are just talking about something that will happen and they are seeing up with it, and they are going to judge or going to cause project. But they are seeing us as partners. People are actually walking along the journey of life with them to make life a better place, life a more interesting place. I will pause here because if I keep talking now, I will take time and I will create additional mental stress. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Tope Adeniyi. I think of importance is that there must be a lot of mental awareness to the populace. We must reach out to people and make them not to have so much anxiety over this COVID-19 that we don't even know where it is going to end as at now. So it is a situation we have to live with as at today and a little while to come. And the one way about it is for people to be aware of the consequence and to prevent it, to prevent any issue of that will affect our mental health. Well, one good takeaway that I see is really impactful to insurance practitioners is that Mr. Adeniyi has recommended that we provide value-added services on mental awareness in addition to our regular insurance products, which I take to imply that as we sell our other insurance products, we are also promoting mental awareness so that at the end, we are protecting the interests of the insurance public and even generality of our populace. Thank you very much, Mr. Tope Adeniyi. We appreciate you. Our next speaker is Dr. Mrs. Memuna Kadiri. Dr. Mrs. Memuna.
No, I'm just. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Dr. Mrs. Memuna Kadiri is a medical director of Pinnacle Medical Services, a dynamic consultant neuropsychiatrist, and a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, with almost 20 years experience as a practicing physician. She is popularly referred to as the celebrity shrink. and is a multiple award-winning mental health physician and advocate. She is also a frontliner, and if we were at the physical, I would have clapped for Dr. Kadiri. Deeply involved in the management of COVID-19 pandemic, Mrs. Memuna Kadiri will talk into the topic, the impact of COVID-19 on the mental health of business owners and managers, for 10 minutes. Yes. Dr. Kadiri, you are invited to please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much to the executive of this honorable association. Thank you to all the participants and, of course, my panelists, both yesterday and, of course, today. It's a great honor to be able to talk to all of us when it comes to our mental health, because as much as possible, in as much as possible that this area of our health is not really looked into, it's always good to bring it to the forefront and for us to, remind ourselves or learn certain things we've learned over time that aren't helpful and healthy for us, and really learn new things that, that will help us during and, of course, post this pandemic. As it were, I'm talking to business owners and of course, managers, and we can't take away the families from this group of people, because whether you're a business owner or you're a manager, you are part of a family, and of course you have a family. Pinnacle Medical Services, which has been in existence for almost 10 years, currently is serving almost 30,000 Nigeria employees through the Employee Assistance Program in Nigeria that covers various aspects of the different sectors, from the financial sector to the telcos to the multinationals. So if I'm going to be talking to business owners here today, and of course managers, one thing I would like us to really put into place is to understand the impact of having our mental wellness in the workplaces. Currently, the National Survey for Mental Health 2019 is telling us that 1 out of every 3 Nigerian employees at risk of stress, 1 out of every 5 Nigerian employees currently depressed. So with all these statistics that we are looking into, and of course, Mr. Denny of Ansad Mansard is telling us that since the COVID-19, 40% of their medical usage has gone up, and it's just one of those insurance group. So you can imagine other health insurance that will come up with their own statistics. And of course, reminding us of what the United Nations talked about in June, it's telling us that now we have a global pandemic, which is the COVID-19, but we should also look at the fact that there's a silent pandemic that is brewing up, which is the increase in the rate of mental illness. And if we do not take this into cognizance, what we are doing right now, there's no way we'll be able to move on. Yes, there's a good, the bad, and the ugly side of COVID-19. Being a frontliner, giving psychosocial support to whether the doctors and nurses in-house, to the patients, to patients' relatives, that's been a really, 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 really difficult time for each and every one of us. But there are the good side when it comes to this period. People are learning new skills, people are learning, bonding better, there is better communication with family members, friends, teamwork among corporate organizations is getting better for some people. And the fact that we have our children at home may be consuming, but some people haven't had that for a long period of time. And when we look at the biblical and the Islamic statement of cleanliness is next to godliness, it's coming back to remind. It's not that we are being reminded that this is so key, because the COVID-19 doesn't like dirtiness. It wants us to be clean, washing our hands regularly, keeping our environment clean, and all these come to us, comes to the forefront to tell us that we need to take things in our own hands. Take responsibility just generally means that we have to ensure that we keep safe and, of course, keep healthy. Because the bad side of it is there's the FAD syndrome, fear, anxiety, denial, and stigma. Feared for the fact that you contact COVID-19, the anxiety of also comes into play, whether you will contact it or somebody already has it, will die. Most people don't even want to know their status, even if they have the symptoms, whether it's malaria-like in origin or flu-like in origin, which are the symptoms that also mimic COVID-19. When it's not time to say, come, let's go and do a COVID-19 test, they're telling you, no, I don't want to know. So there's that anxiety, that fear. And of course, the denial, even if you are told it's COVID-19, you are telling yourself, look, after all, 85%, 90% of people recover. And then the stigma that is attached to people with that are survival, and that just makes people not even talk about the fact that they have gone through the process, they've been in isolation, they are now better now. So the FAD syndrome is there, the FADS. And of course, when it comes to corporate organization, now, if you take Lagos State as a case study, they've accredited 7 private laboratories. And for what we see, quite a number of the corporate organizations are now in a way, screening all their staff so that they can resume back to work. This just goes to now tell us that there are some people that may not want to know their status, because we do have healthy carriers among our populace. And of course, but the work environment wants to make sure that everybody is safe when they resume work. Whether it's 40 or 60% occupancy in the workplace, we want to know those that are even coming in have that, they are negative, and those that are not negative are being taken care of. Mild, moderate cases can be taken care of at home, and of course, the severe and critical cases can go to the isolation center. But that is where the fear and anxiety then comes in. So this group of people, if you're a corporate organization on this forum today, don't just screen them. You have to cancel them. Let's use the VCT method when there was the pandemic or the issue of HIV. There was the counseling before you test. Don't just test people for the fact that you want to do the right thing. Productivity is very key to you as a business owner or as a manager, but also understand that the productivity without profitability is work done zero. So if you have to make sure you screen them, make sure you also counsel them. And this is more like a debriefing session for them. Talk to them, let them know, look, if you are negative, there are procedures you take, just reminding them of all the things they've been doing well, they should continue. And then if you are positive, then of course, isolate, asymptomatic, just watch yourself for the next 14 days. It's very, very important that you put that into place. And of course, those that are now positive or whether they are negative, you should also follow them through at least minimum of the next 2 weeks. Don't just screen them and just push them aside and say, okay, look, it's because we want to open up our business that you must. But of course, I'm talking in a platform where insurance is very key. Like what Mr. Denny said, it's very sad, really, really sad that insurance is not taking this on board to make sure that mental wellness is incorporated into the package that organizations should have. It's highly neglected. In fact, you find out that out-of-the-pocket payment is what people do most times. People will come to our hospital and tell us, do you have this insurance? And they will look into it and we'll call the insurance company. Of course, there are always ways back and forth that you find out whether you can even be on board any insurance corporate organization. And then when you eventually get to them, they will tell you, oh, sorry, we don't have mental wellness among our services. That means this person will have to do out-of-the-pocket payment. The truth that health is a right, but healthcare is not a right. So people will not do out-of-the-pocket payment. And at the end of the day, it's expensive anywhere in the world. Take US, take UK, healthcare is expensive anywhere in the world. So when people start doing out-of-the-pocket payment for a medical condition that is highly discriminated and stigmatizing, you find out that at the end of the day, fall out of treatment. Then what then happens if this person is working in your organization? Productivity dip, poor team, this person becomes a poor team player. At the end of the day, profitability becomes an issue. So now we're having people that are downsizing, there's redundancy. Even if you have from 50 staff to 20 staff, and you do not build that mental resilience amongst them, you do not build mental wellness amongst them, trust me, your profitability will start having a nosedive if you do not get them, in that good, what we call creating a mentally healthy workforce. It's good, yes, we pay salaries, you boost, maybe give them houses, you give them cars, with all the beautiful things we've been talking about since yesterday. When people are not mentally stable, all other things don't fall into place. We are a society where suffering is a competition amongst us. We need to remind us that, no, this is the time for us to start building the culture of compassion. And if we have to build the culture of compassion, it has to start from our homes, our workplaces, because 2/3 of your working hours is actually in the work environment. It's just because of the COVID-19 that we are doing remote working now. And even the remote working, how many of us are having it so easy? In fact, remote working is a scam. Quote me anyway, it's a scam. It was something that a lot of us look forward to, but right now, remote working is making us work harder and work longer. But what the brain actually needs is to work smarter and better. But with that working harder and longer, people are losing touch of what the day is. I don't know, maybe today is Thursday or Friday, maybe somebody needs to remind me. So it's happening to each and every one of us. There's a lot of people that are having distorted sleep cycle, not eating well, and that is affecting your employee. That is affecting you as a founder or as an employer. And the fact that, you know, there are people, the workforce also has a lot of women, especially in the accounting or front desk. These women, don't just look at them as a woman working in your organization. Look at her in totality. She's there working for you. She's there at home, making sure the children are homeschooled well without cyberbullying and losing their self-esteem, because that is also on the increase. She's there being herself. She's there, taking care of the husband. So there's a lot. If you put mental wellness into place and establish an employee assistance program for your organization, what are the things that are likely going to get out of it? You are creating a safe space for your employees. That safe space will help them decluster their mind, talk to somebody who is a professional in that field, somebody who wouldn't criticize them, who wouldn't judge them, who wouldn't be apostolic, because we are Nigerians. I must add that into it. Because Nigerians are very good at, because they're not fasting and praying enough, because they're not going to my church, come to my church, and all those other stories. The truth is that with that in your workplace, you are likely going to get the best out of your employees, and even you, the owner of the organization, because now these people are going to have a place where they can talk, somebody they can talk to, somebody they can relate with, somebody who wouldn't judge them, somebody who wouldn't criticize them. Why? Because this COVID-19 viral infection is affecting us mentally, using the acronym, which I'm going to end, the pandemic acronym. The PANDMIC is how this COVID-19 viral infection is affecting us. Starting from panic, all of us here, we all panicked by. We bought a lot of things, stocking up, filling the freezer. Make sure the freezer has all the cartons of fish, chicken, get tissue roll. We all panic buy, bought a lot of things, and some people even went into panic attack. The A is anxiety. Anxiety is so much right now, because opening up the churches and the mosques, we don't even know when. Opening up the schools, we don't even know when. We don't even know when this virus will even go away. So people are still being very anxious about what is the next thing and what we have to do about it. The N is not sleeping and eating well. I just told you, I don't know whether today is Thursday or Friday or Saturday. You find out that there's a distortion in our sleep cycle, which just affects our orientation generally about what we need to do and how we need to do things. We binge eat, we Netflix and chill and all that, but it's really helping us. And so you find a lot of people are beginning to add a lot of weight, because this social and physical distancing is not allowing us to see a lot of people. So there's distortion in the eating and sleeping pattern. That is not sleeping and eating well. D is the depression. People are getting depressed. Yes, people are truly getting depressed. It's amazing that we've seen us build that culture of compassion where we can encourage help-seeking behavior. So even when you tell people what you are dealing with, they are trivializing your issues, or they're making it look as if, look, we are all Nigerians, we are all suffering. Your own suffer is not different from my own suffer. Like, is suffering supposed to be a competition? Really? So there's increase in rate of depression, and E is expressing suicidal thought, which is a severe form or the extreme of when you are being depressed. We've had a 9-year-old killed himself, which is really sad. And you'll be wondering, what will a 9-year-old be thinking about? But children also get depressed. So parents have to also look out for their children. They're your legacy, they're your future, which is the E. The M here is maladaptive coping mechanism. This is more among the men. Of course, we are not exonerating the women, which is the increase in the rate of drug abuse, substance abuse, and of course, use of caffeinated drinks, which further affects your sleeping cycle. So maladaptive coping mechanism also is one way this viral infection is affecting us. And the I is impaired thought processes. A lot of issues, people are becoming paranoid, suspicious, Oh, this is a manufactured virus. Oh, it's due to 5G. Oh, Nigeria, we need 10G. We don't even need 5G because we pay for 5G and we are getting 1G service. Hello, what is 5G to us? We need more. So there's a lot of impacts of processes. And the last but not the least, which quite a number of us are still there, even the World Health Organization is still at this phase. We are confused. It's confusion. Oh, don't use face mask, use face mask. Oh, we say it's not airborne, it's not airborne. So many things. So the one thing I want to let us be aware as I round up now is to use the ABC toolkit. Accept is our new reality, not necessarily agree with it, but of course acknowledge it. Also stay active. Stay active just means 20 to 30 minutes brisk walk every day, please. Not 3 to 4 times a day, now every day. This will boost your feel-good hormones and of course will help keep you rejuvenated, help manage your anxiety. And there are all non-medication treatment for anxiety, depression, fear. The B here is B. Please take regular breaks. B is breaks. Take regular breaks from media, news, and social media. If WhatsApp is your problem now, please uninstall it. If you are not on Twitter and you think you need to keep your sanity, don't go there. The streets of Twitter is very toxic. So B is take regular breaks from news and social media. My TV is not on till like maybe around 5, like 6, watch the news, what is happening in the world, and turn it off. I don't need to know what NCDC is going to tell me at 11 p.m. when I'm supposed to be sleeping. Then I will not sleep well when I see the scores are 800 and something. For what is my own? The following morning I will know, because there's no way the news will run away. So don't just keep make yourself fall into that fear, anxiety, and the sleep will just disappear. The C here, stay connected, is connected. Stay connected with loved ones, family members, colleagues. Stay connected, leverage on technology online, Zoom parties. My son is graduating tomorrow from primary school, and we are having a Zoom graduation. And in the night, we are having a Zoom party, with a DJ on board and other. So leverage on technology, and as much as possible, stay safe, take care of yourself, because truly, together, we are stronger in the fight against COVID-19. It's not going away anytime soon. But what you have under your control are your emotions. So it's good for us to practice self-care on a day-to-day basis. You own it to yourself. You are your own biggest asset. Because at the end of the day, if you burn out, you are useless to yourself and you are useless to others. If you don't take care of yourself, who will? And if you don't do it now, then when? Thank you very much.
Wow. That has been a very exciting session. And my first takeaway is I assume that we are all invited to the Zoom party tomorrow.
I will send the link.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mumuna Kadiri. We did not expect less. The celebrity shrink. My takeaway, however, concerning business owners is that there is actually advantage in the COVID-19 in that there is a tighter bond among the employees. Also, there is improved hygiene because there are more of washing of hands, using sanitizers and cleanliness. Even though right now, because everywhere you go, you are asked to use their sanitizers. I have my hands feeling, so I still need to consult you, madam, on the way out of that. Then the action point for employers and business owners is that we should counsel our members of staff on mental awareness. Prior to screening the employees, we should make sure we counsel them appropriately. Also, we should try very hard to create a mentally stable environment where people will want to work, and there will be an increase in production with the main interest of increase in profitability. Thank you very much, madam. On that note, we will go to our final. Well, we'll go to our third panelist, Dr. Ume. Please, can we have those here on the screen?
We don't have it, ma'am.
Okay. Our third panelist is Dr. Charles Ume. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A consultant, clinical psychologist, Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Dr. Ume is a senior lecturer, Department of Psychiatry, College of Medicine, University of Lagos. He is currently the chairman of the Nigeria Association of Clinical Psychologists, Lagos chapter, and a member of the Association of Psychological Science, as well as International Society for the Study of Behavioral Development. Dr. Ume will discuss the impact of mental health on families for 10 minutes. Dr. Ume, I welcome you to the floor.
If Dr. Ume is not around, maybe we should go to question and answers while they confirm to us where he comes in because of our time.
All right, thank you very much.
I have been talking all along. I didn't know that I was unmuted. Hello?
Okay. Okay. Doctor, you are on. We can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much for having me in the forum today. And I must thank the organizers for inviting me to talk about this very important topic, especially going by the situation we find ourselves that people call the new normal. And I will be talking about the impact of COVID-19 on mental health of families. And you know that everything we do revolves around family. And if your family is not in order, I don't think anybody can function in the workplace. As a result, we have to pay a lot of attention on this. Dr. Mebuna has mentioned some of the major impacts of this COVID, especially in terms of mental health on individuals. But to help me do the discuss, I'll just use this slide, which is just like a kind of a guide. Though I didn't know that I was going to be talking for 10 minutes, I would have prepared a slide. Okay, so but nonetheless, I'll try and see what I can do. Now, we know that the WHO reported this January 2020 as a pandemic in China, Wuhan, and he said it is going to be a public health emergency that will, of international concern. Not long after this, we had the first case in Nigeria, which was February, and I happens to be one of the first persons that saw that case, especially as regards the mental health aspect. Over time, the consequences of it started staring us in the face, especially with the spread that led to lockdown. And we all know what lockdown is. It came with another avalanche of mental health issues, coupled with the pandemic. But who is always at the receiving point of all these problems as we regard mental health? Next slide, please. Let me just fire. Next slide. Go on. Good. So the family. We're looking at the family as the bedrock of everything we do, and majorly everything we do revolves around it. But let us highlight some of the impact, mental health impact of this COVID to individuals before we focus on the family. Apart from some of the factors that Dr. Memuna has mentioned, you could see that this pandemic brought about so many issues that zeroed in on uncertainties, misinformation, and all these things bred a lot of anger, irritability, anxiety. Anxiety in the sense that nobody knows what to expect, including the medical professionals, okay? And it becomes an issue of trial and error. And that on its own caused a lot of problem to the general populace. And they reacted differently. Some with panic, OCD, phobia, depression, then the stress mounted. And you can understand where all these things are coming from with the lockdown. The lockdown virtually stopped the economy, and it brought about a lot of adjustment issues. Okay, then we have a lot of emotional exhaustion associated with it. Then we have problems of the elderly. Like you will agree with me, the elderly are expected to interact with people to enable them fight their boredom and other issues. Here they are compelled to stay in isolation. Then there is also pathophobia. That is fear of the disease itself, because everybody became very afraid and they don't know how they're going to get it, because we were told that the symptoms are not obvious, except only when it is very severe. So it became a whole lot of things to a whole lot of persons. Next slide, please. Now, who are these people that are impacted by this problem? We start from the individual level, the children. And you know, the psyche of the children is not the same with that of what? Adult. Now, the children were impacted so much that a lot of them had a lot of what we call oppositional defiant behaviors. And their schools were closed. This is a routine they are used to. Now, nobody is explaining to them what this new situation we find ourselves will mean to them. And those uncertainties, they started reacting to. We talk about the adolescents. We know the adolescents are already a very critical area in someone's life that is fraught with a lot of crises. This was an added crisis onto them. What about the adults? It became a whole gamut of issues. The geriatrics, the couples, families, healthcare providers, and all carriers of the societal strata were impacted one way or the other. But my discourse will focus specifically on the mental health issues families faced during, are still facing during this pandemic. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, the family. A lot of us don't understand what a family is.
I think we lost Dr. Ome. We can hear him again. Dr. Ome, you can continue. We can hear you now. We can't hear you, sir. Now we can't hear you, Dr. Ume.
The host, can you help us confirm while we're waiting for Dr. Ume, is there any question in the Q&A box?
No question. There is no question.
The host, can you help us confirm whether Dr. Ume is still available so that we don't keep everybody waiting? In the interim, can the evaluation be done? So while we wait for Dr. Ume to come back online, I think an evaluation is done so that that one can be taking place while the host contact Dr. Ume to know what the position is. Can you let us know what is happening, please?
Mr. Ume is off the call. So we're trying to get him back in.
Well, please, can I suggest that is it possible we buy time by asking the moderator to just take the few questions on the issues that had been raised earlier, and then we see if he can still join us.
I don't know if there are any questions.
If there are questions, maybe the moderator will want to take them, and then.
There is one question, so it's for Dr. Ume and Dr. Kadiri. Please, how do you know for sure you are depressed?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I really hope Dr. May is going to be able to come on board. Technology, this happens. In this pandemic, we do know that two things that we are spending so much money on is food and then, of course, data. So when it switches off on us like this, it can become very annoying. So how do you know?
I'm reconnected now. I don't know if
Dr. Ume is back.
Sorry for that. That is technology for you. I don't know how we can deal with that in this country. Really sorry. Okay, so I was talking about the family and the mental health. And like I was saying, the family, there are people that are connected emotionally, financially, socially, otherwise, and it could be biological. And there's one common thing about family, and that's why we say it is a system. Okay, it's a system in the sense that it's made up of different components. Okay, the father, the mother, the children, and we call those ones nuclear family, and they interact to achieve common goals in life. And it can be extended in this part of the world. You're living with the uncle. The one important thing there is that they interact more often than any other place, because it's like a melting point to every member of the family. And like we all know, being a system, once anybody has any mental health issue, it impacts directly or indirectly on other members of the family. So we must always try as much as possible to protect the sanctity and sanity of members of the family. But that is not what exactly we have ongoing, especially orchestrated by this COVID. Now, we must also understand that the family is the first point of socialization. What does that mean? That is the place we learn all the rudiment of our social skills. And it is a place we build our self-esteem. And we have come to realize that low self-esteem is at the root of most mental health issues we suffer from. And where are we getting it from? The family. And the family can also provide support when things are not going right. All these things are pointers to maintaining good mental health. But when we say this mental health, a lot of people look at it in the negative perspective. But the mental health is not about negative, okay? But it becomes a problem when we start having issues maintaining it. And those are the issues COVID-19 highlighted in our lives, okay? And next slide, because of time. Let me go to the main issues. Next slide, please. Okay, so the COVID came with it a lot of uncertainties, okay? And some of it include contracting the virus itself. People became paranoid, okay? No, because nobody can tell you exactly what the problems are. And all these things, according to the study conducted by Quatrix in this April 2000, he said 67% of people report higher levels of stress since the outbreak of this condition. Okay, and where are these stressors coming from? Fear of contracting this virus. Another one is financial pressure. And we all know how it has affected all of us, because no social activities, economic activities going on. People were downsizing to maintain the new normal. And what about people who are feeding on daily basis? It became next to zero level because of lockdown, and people were now eating on their savings. Even at times, you can't even get something to eat. And can you imagine a family without food? A lot of issues begin to pile up. Now, a lot of people were stuck at home. Those ones that could work, I started adjusting to working from home. Like you could see what the technology is doing to us right now. How efficient was that going to be towards the executing your job from home? It became another issue. Now, loneliness and social isolation brought about its own effects to the emotional well-being of people at home. Then there is also fear about job security. All these things was what the study showed us contributed immensely to the stressors people go through, especially family members. Now, coping with this, how are we going to deal with some of these mental health issues that families face? First is what? Getting well educated. How do you get well educated? There are some dedicated sites that give you informed knowledge about COVID, because we know that there was a lot of rumors all over, and this is at the psyche of the populace because of social media. And all these things terrified so many people. And the COVID-19 became like a myth. And you know, the fear of the unknown impacts so much on our mental well-being. Now, if you get the right information, and if you update yourself with the right information from the right source, it goes a long way in reducing the anxiety associated with it. The next one is helping others. A lot of us can be able to cope with situations better than others. But at this critical period, everybody was on his or her own, because nobody knew how long this is going to last. How am I going to use my little resources to cater for others? But I knew that there were so many areas that people actually became their brother's keeper. And if you see the definition of mental health, there's one component of it that we must fulfill by helping others. Trying to contribute to the society is part of having a good mental health. So if we do every other thing and we don't contribute to the society, our mental health is not complete. So we must endeavor to add this as part of maintaining our good mental health. Or use yourself as an example. When you give, how does that make you feel? I don't need to overstress that. Now focus on purpose. That means we can generate a sense of meaning when we are able to make a unique contribution and feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. The focus there is to look beyond yourself, because this period, if you occupy yourself with yourself, you will get tired of yourself, because you had how many months within yourself, not interacting, not reaching out, except via social media. Now, when you create things meaningfully and work towards that, it will go a long way in reducing some of your stressors. Then establish routine. Yes, how do we establish routine under a lockdown? This is pretty important, because if you know that you can draw a schedule of activities for yourself, given the prevailing circumstances, and stick to it, it will go a long way in creating that sense of equilibrium within you. We also have communication as impacts on families. Now, this is where I have so many issues. Now, a lot of people have more time to stay at home and spend as family, which before now was not there. And it kept impacting on people in both ways. To some area, it led to a lot of family dysfunction or domestic violence. And to some people, it became a melting point for them to re-understand their family. Now, a lot of families that were dysfunctional before the lockdown got worse. Some other ones got better, simply because of the ability to communicate. For the first time, most fathers started noticing what is happening in the home, started understanding their children. For the first time, most mothers spend time with their husband, okay? And how were they able to do that? Via communication. And that is where a lot of issues became very apparent, that some led to domestic violence, to which I have mediated severally during this period, while to some other people, it became a uniting force, because they have enough time to think out their problems and were able to address things they consider not to be important before now. Those are some of the issues that resulted as a result of this lockdown to the family. Next slide, please.
Thank you very much.
My time is up.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. All right, thank you very much. I was going to talk about personal experiences as a member of the psychosocial COVID, Lagos State COVID response team, and as a therapist. But nonetheless, maybe during question and answer, some of these issues will be dealt with. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ume. You know, we lost some time also due to the network problem. You have actually intimated us by and large on the need for us to uphold the family unit and lift up one another, lift up the spirit of one another within the family. Also, I was privy to your presentation, and I know that you also encouraged us that at this critical time, we should uphold our spiritual growth. I think before you came back, there was a question, how do I know I am depressed? Maybe we'll just take that question, only that question.
Okay.
And Dr. Mumun Kadiri was answering the question.
Okay.
How do we know that we are depressed?
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Good question, and very important. Depression affects, our way of thinking, behavior, and of course our emotions. And we need to understand that there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the word depression. People use it very loosely. Oh, I'm depressed, even if they are sad. So sadness, I need to quickly rule out this myth. Sadness does not equate to depression. Neither is depression a nice word to use. Depression is a serious mental illness. So, and we have major symptoms and of course minor symptoms. A lot of the minor symptoms are malaria-like in origin, not eating well, not sleeping well, body pain, and you may think you actually have malaria. So we need to understand these symptoms. Again, when it comes to the major symptoms, we are not talking about one of the symptoms that is equivalent to depression. So, for example, the sadness. It's not a sadness of 1 or 2 days. It's sadness that has been ongoing for a minimum of 2 weeks. So when you say you are depressed, have you been diagnosed? Did any doctor see you to say you are depressed? You may be sad, maybe for financial reasons, for relationship problems, for the COVID-19 issues, but please just know that you are not depressed, you are sad. And like I said, the sadness has to be ongoing for a minimum of 2 weeks. Then the second major symptom is energy, low energy level, or loss of the energy level that ordinarily used to have is not as much as it is now. So you find yourself, you are a bit sluggish, you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get up, and all those other things that just makes you just feel very, what we call lethargic and easily fatigued. The third major symptom is interest. Loss of interest in things ordinarily you love to do. Premiership League has started down. Some of the men that love that may never want to pick up their remote control, may not even want to turn on their TV. So that interest in things you ordinarily love to do, you don't love to do it. Work, going back to work has resumed in some offices. Some people don't even want to go to work. So these 3 major symptoms are the things that we need to look into. Then, of course, the many numerous symptoms are not eating well or overeating, which is most likely binge eating or emotional eating. Not sleeping well or oversleeping, which most likely when you oversleep, you want to sleep your problems away, and which is not, you can't wish depression away, you can't will it away, you have to deal with it and face it. Then easily fatigue, poor concentration and attention when you hold your phone and you're looking for your phone, when you want to go to Ikeja and you see yourself in Lekki, you just find yourself, you are a bit disoriented. Sometimes you may get to the extreme of cases when you start hearing voices, seeing strange things, becoming suspicious and paranoid, and then some people may start feeling hopeless, worthless, and helpless. That is when suicidal thoughts comes in. So that's why I'm saying, please, it's not a nice word to use. If you ever find yourself feeling sad, don't say you are depressed. You can hear the symptoms now. They are serious symptoms, and depression is a serious mental illness. So please just understand this. If for next 2 weeks or for the past 2 weeks you are going through these symptoms, especially the sadness, interest level, and of course the energy level is down, and some of the minor symptoms, please seek for help. Seek for help from the right places, from the right people, and the right time. There is no late time. If it's now that you found out that you think you may be depressed, seek for help. You matter.
Thank you very much, madam. And with that, we come to the conclusion of this section of the workshop. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me, it has been an expository session, both on the subject of fintech and mental health, which I am sure have been beneficial to each and every one as participants and panelists. Let us begin the workshop with the determination to, however, put into practice all that we have learned. And of utmost importance, however, is the popular adage, health is wealth. Good afternoon and have a wonderful day.
Well,
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Olufunke Adenusi, for taking us through and making us to have the best of all our very, very great resource persons. At this point, we got to catch up with time. Can I, on behalf of the LAC, appreciate all our resource persons? And I believe that at the back end, we should be screening the special appreciation to them. But for the social distancing, I believe that we should be presenting them with their plaques and certificates. But we can do that virtually, and I assure you that it's going to get to you the physical copy is going to get to you very shortly. So I want to Mr. Aderemi Atonda. This is an appreciation award for you in recognition of your invaluable contributions as panelists today, the NCRIB LAC 2020 Media Workshop with the focus Advocacy, FinTech, and Mental Health. On behalf of the LAC, as represented by the chairman, Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, we appreciate you and present this award to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Aderemi Atonda. We appreciate you, sir. Yes, Ashley Emmanuel. Even though Ashley is not here physically, but she has deputed Femi to stand in for him. So please take it that this is being given to Ashley. Ashley is the head of programs of EFINA, and this is in recognition of our invaluable contribution as panelists at the NCRIB LAC 2020 Media Workshop with the focus Advocacy, FinTech, and Mental Health. And of course, this is being presented on behalf of the entire members by the chairman, Mrs. Bukola Ifemade. Thank you very much, Ashley Emmanuel. We appreciate you. Dr. Oluyomi Alarakwe, we thank you very much, the Executive Director of Rugby Business Solutions and Technologies Limited. We are presenting this appreciation plaque to you in recognition of your very, very profound contributions as a panelist at the NCRIB 2020 Media Workshop of the LAC. You've talked so well and to the benefit of all our members. And this special plaque is being presented to you, courtesy of the LAC, under the leadership of Mrs. Bukola Ifemade. Thank you, Dr. Alarakwe. We appreciate you very much. And of course, Mrs. Olufunke Adenusi, Managing Director, Consummate Insurance Brokers Limited. She is actually, I call her the navigator of today's event. As a moderator, you've done very well. You've been able to allow us to excise as much as possible information from all our resource persons. We appreciate you, man. And on behalf of Mrs. Ifemade, we want to present this plaque to you. I wish that you could take it online, but just take it anyhow it is, okay? So thank you very much, Mrs. Adenusi. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, Mr. Tokwe Adeniyi. Actually, Mr. Adeniyi by now should be an associate of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers because he's always with us. He's been with us and he's always very resourceful, and his contributions are very, very impactful. At this instance, we recognize your invaluable contribution as panelists today at the NCRIB LAC 2020 Media Workshop, focusing on advocacy, fintech, and mental health. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir. Barrister Rotimi Edu actually was a paper reviewer yesterday, and we'd like to also appreciate him. He gave a very, very profound lecture yesterday on advocacy with regards to the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers. We appreciate you. On behalf of Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, we present this to you. Thank you, Barrister Rotimi Edu. Next. Dr. Mrs. Memuna Kadiri. Thank you very much, ma, for bringing very, very fresh dimension to the discourse. She's the Medical Director of Pinnacle Medical Services. In recognition of your very, very insightful lecture and stimulating us to what we should be doing now in order not to burn, that we shouldn't be under stress, we like to appreciate you, man. And of course, this is coming courtesy of the entire membership of the LAC, and Mrs. Ifemade is actually the signatory, and properly so because she's the chairman. This is being presented to you, Dr. Mrs. Memuna. Thank you, madam. Thank you. We appreciate you, ma. Dr. Charles Ume, Thank you very, very much, sir. We appreciate you. As a MC, I observe that you've been on the loop for a very long time, but we had some technical issues along the line, but you were still able to get us to coast along with you and have a very good understanding of the subject matter. And of course, the entire membership of the Lagos Area Committee is appreciating you, Dr. Charles Ume, consultant clinical pathologist of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, for doing us very, very proud today. We appreciate you as a friend. And of course, this has been presented to you by the entire membership of the LAC under its chairmanship, Dr. Mrs. Bukola Ifemade. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Yeah. Are we done? Okay. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think the plaques are done. Otherwise, I have to present one to myself, and that will be out of order. So, at this point in time, I would like to invite for the brief closing remarks the Executive Secretary of the NCRIB, Mr. Fatah Adegbenro. Please give us a short closing remark, and then we wrap up formally, and then we bid everyone bye. Mr. Fatah Adegbenro, please. Mr. Adegbenro, please. Mr. Adegbenro, please, for your short closing remarks.
Thank you, Tope. When you mentioned Tope, when you were presenting the plaque, I thought you were adding for yourself. We are now moving to the end of this program. I want to appreciate you all for your contribution for being present here. Let me start with our president. That's the president of NCRIB and the chief host of this program. That's Dr. Mrs. Bola Onigogi. Thank you so much for being there all the time, for giving the directive and the support. We really appreciate you. We need to also thank our deputy president. That's Barrister Rotimi Edu Efena. The vice president, we appreciate you. All the past presidents present, as well as all the board members, we want to thank you immensely for being there all the time. The host herself, and that's the chairman of LAC, Mrs. Bukola Ifemade, want to thank you for always coming up with contemporary topics that are beneficial to the members. And we extend the appreciation to your team, the vibrant team that you lead. Our moderator for today, my good sister, that's Mr. Adebisi, Olubunke Adebisi. I think you are now qualified to now be a professional moderator that can earn you some money. You did wonderfully well today. And all the panelists, wow, you all are fantastic. I make going by my own routine, I think I scored every one of you A's. You did very well, very well. Thank you so much. All members present, we need to appreciate you for being there. If we organize this and nobody was there to listen, then we've done nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share a few thoughts with you before we round it up. Dear participants, it is pertinent to state that the universe is in constant flux. Hence, the need for us as people to be well prepared for unveiling changes that could throw us off balance. For either failure to prepare for it or insensitive to its existence or adamant or failing to adapt on time. Although there are so many factors driving these changes, but the major one is technology. And this will continue to be with us and affect every aspect of our life. That is, be it the way we do business, the way we relate to ourselves and every aspect of what we do. In fact, it is going to create future shocks that will throw us off balance. We should not make the mistake of rejecting today by returning to yesterday. Change cannot be avoided, as change is very necessary for development, growth, and meaningful living. In view of the foregoing, I want to enjoin us all to embrace technology to drive our businesses more so than our future prospects and customers who are millennials, who rely largely on technology for their existence. Everything they do, they find it difficult to even go out to relate with people. They do everything online. For them to embrace insurance, we need to have them in mind and embrace technology. In the same light, we need to pay serious attention to our health, as it is often said that health is wealth. It always amuses me how people have disregard for their health in pursuit of acquisition of wealth, but end up using the wealth to regain their health. To me, this type of attitude or action is devoid of wisdom. I am also greatly disturbed when some people still say COVID-19 is lost and being used by various governments to make money. It is more disturbing when such odious comments come from those that are later, the educated ones. That's why the global effect on every aspect of our lives. Please let us follow the advice of the professionals and keep safe. Only the unwise learn from their own experiences and may not even live to tell the story. Please be wise. My dear brethren, we are living in a world of impermanence. The fast changes are being driven largely by technology. The technology feeds on knowledge, and knowledge expands in phenomenal rates. I wish to close by also appreciating all the participants and all those who have worked tirelessly to make this program a success. You are all welcome to a new life of change. Please join the council for a smooth and enjoyable ride. Thank you. To round it up, may I ask the moderator, because I enjoyed listening to her voice. She has performed wonderfully well. That's Mrs. Olufunke Agency, to give us the closing prayer. Madam, over to you.
Yeah, muted, man.
Almighty God, we thank you, we bless you. Almighty our Heavenly Father, we thank you, we bless you, we glorify you, we magnify you for a time out like this. We thank you particularly for the impact that you have made concerning these sessions that we have had today. Father, we pray that it will be beneficial to us and we will implement them to your glory in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Please, to all our members, the papers will be sent to your emails, courtesy of the LAC, all the presentations. Please be rest assured that you will not lose out of any of them. God bless you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Tope.
Mr. Adeni, good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Alarakwe, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well done.
You, sir. Thank
yes,
you.
Sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Adeni, good to see you.
Yeah, good to
well
see
done,
you.
sir. Bye for now. Yes, sir.